See it played. Main battle area. Actions. Main battle area, modern tactical combat in Europe, is to be fair, a virtually forgotten wargame published by Omega Games, designed by Bill Gibbs. So we're going to go through the second round. The second round of the second phase of the first turn. So now we'll speed it up a bit. Step A, remove odd markers. We don't have any odd or even markers yet. I'll skip the level 2, 3, and 4 rules. Okay, so we go on to step B. So for us at level 1, step A is just remove odd markers and even markers according to the round. So in odd rounds, remove odd markers. In even rounds, remove even markers. Okay. Step B is allocation of available indirect fire missions. Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to use indirect fire in this particular action. So we'll go on to step C. Step C, this is the Soviet movement phase. So all Soviet unsuppressed units move, and I will mark them after they move. But basically we have the lead company here and a trail company of just 2 platoons back here. To begin, I think this lead company is just going to try to get over here to this wood line. And I think this company is going to try to come up here on this high ground. Well, I guess they'll just go up through this woods and get up to this high ground. So I am wondering about something. This platoon here is in the square here. It's on the road. I want it to go to this square. And I guess I'm just wondering, in the game, I don't know the answer to this question. In the rules does it, basically, how do you record where the unit is? If the unit's in this square, how do you record it that it's on this side of the stream or that side of the stream? Or does it even matter? I don't even know. What I'm going to do, I'm just at level 1 here. I don't know if it ever comes up. Since I know the platoon was on the road and I want it to go to this square, I think I'm going to have them pay an extra movement point to cross the stream there. So that would be 2. So luckily there's no extra movement point allowance for going up slope, because for modern combat that wouldn't make much sense. So now it's 3, 4 to enter the woods there. And again, Soviet units have a movement allowance of 4 movement points per movement step. So he's done, and he's in the wood line. Now, interestingly, so the Soviet platoon crossed the stream, went up the hill into the wood line. So now, to visualize it, the Soviet tank platoon is in the wood line on the hill, looking down to the U.S. platoon in the urban area there. And the U.S. tanks are looking up the hill and into the wood line to the Soviets. So in so many other games, I would now be looking for lines of sight, observation, and opportunity fire. Nowhere in this game have I ever seen reference to opportunity fire. I still don't think they have opportunity fire, which is going to be very interesting how this actually works in all different cases. By the way, these are, I believe, 250 meter squares, so grid squares. So we're talking roughly 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, a little over 3 kilometers. Did I get, yeah. yeah, a little over 3 kilometers. So, considering all things about modern war, equipment, capabilities, etc., it's not unbelievable that the M1s wouldn't observe the tanks appearing in the wood line up there. But I'll move on. Deb was talking about really the core thing about there's no reason to pause a lot for checking observation, blah, 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 for opportunity fire, because I don't see it. All right, so the Soviets will continue moving. Oh, I'm going to try to if I can remember, I'm just going to start talking Op4 instead of Soviets to keep it really flexible, I guess. All right, so Op4 will continue moving. Here's probably an even better example of what I was just talking about. This Soviet tank platoon began here in this urban area, just traveled out along the road here, full view, driving over a kilometer in full view of the tanks there. So there is no, again, there are no pauses to figure out the interaction of these units as far as I can figure out. It's just Soviet unsuppressed unit movement. So that's what we're going to do. So the lead company has moved west here towards the wood line there. And I guess if in this action the company gets decimated, and I guess maybe that's not commentary on the rules at all, but commentary on you can't do that. But we'll see. So we'll go on to step D. Step D is U.S. player allocates non-missile direct fires by unspotted units, placing will fire markers. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, this is fire declaration. I got that wrong. This is I got this wrong. This is not just declaration. Okay. Okay. No, I got this very wrong. These are two different types of fire. Step D is fire by unspotted units, which is both declared and resolved by the U.S. player. Then step E is both players conduct simultaneous fire. So in effect, it's all remaining fire. So actually it's broken out. Okay. You gotta stick to the sequence of play very closely. Okay. All right. So back up. Step D, U.S. player. Okay. I think I gotta make a couple adjustments here. Okay. U.S. player allocates, grab my will fire marker. Will fire marker, which is what we're going to be placing. Okay, so U.S. player allocates non-missile direct fire. So these tanks are non-missile direct fire. Now, by unspotted units. So it's the first thing. I believe this unit is unspotted. The tanks in the urban area, I believe, are unspotted. Okay, little adjustment. I will make a little adjustment. Okay, the bottom line is these. I'm going to play these units are unspotted. However, obviously, at any time in the game, it's possible for a unit to be spotted, in which case it's spotted. But all right, I'm just going to simplify it here and say that these three are still unspotted. Okay. Normally, so the first thing I figured out is that despite what I said earlier, I do need to show them as unspotted because it's also a status thing. Okay. Normally, you would flip the units over like that. Okay. Okay, so these are just U.S. tanks against OPFOR tanks. So you would actually never have to flip over to see your units. Later on, when you get infantry and Bradleys and BMPs, then it's possible that there could be some repetitive flipping. Okay, I know I don't want to do that in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of flipping, I'm going to just cover them with a star mark counter like that. So that is my unspotted status. Okay. And I'll do the same thing for the OPFOR, but now clearly the M1s in the urban area there see the lead. Well, they see the whole company. So this is a U.S. non-missile direct fire unit, unspotted, and I will put a will fire marker on him. And now I'm going to resolve this fire. So he'll go ahead and fire at the lead unit there at a range of, what is that, 1,250 meters. Fires are resolved and losses removed. Afterwards, the firing unit will become spotted and the will fire marker will be flipped to its fired side. Alright, so we're going to resolve our first direct fire. We've got our M1 platoon there. Target is the, whoops, I forgot to have the OPFOR platoon there. Okay, all right, so it goes right through the steps. Well, actually, we need our U.S. combat results table right there. Okay, so determine the weapon type of the spotted target unit. The spotted target unit is a T-80. Okay, T-80. Determine the distance between the firing square. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 squares. Note the terrain features in the target square. It's just open with the road. Note whether the firing and target units have moved or remained stationary. So the firer, the US M1s are stationary. The Soviet, the OPFOR T-80s are moving or have moved. Units that have moved will be canted. Yeah, they'll be marked. Canted in the rules, marked in my case. Note if the target unit occupies an improved position. No. Cross-index the firing unit type and whether it's moved or not. So this is how we're going to do this. All right, so M1 Abrams unit stationary. Plus 20 if a headquarters unit. This is not a headquarters unit. Plus 10 per loss. We've taken no losses. Okay, so the strength of the... So I broke this out because you do want to know the strength of the firing unit because it does make a difference. But it's taken no losses, so it doesn't apply yet. Plus 25 if suppressed. Okay. So none of those apply, but it's M1 Abrams unit stationary at 6 hexes. So we go to the 5 to 7 column. This is our dice range. So now we have to... So now we're going to roll the dice and apply all the modifiers that apply. 14. I can't remember if low is good. Wow. All right. So the Abrams platoon there rolled a 14. Let's see what applies. So small font here, but target unit. We go right down the list. And actually, floating around there somewhere is some errata. So not now, but eventually I'm definitely going to have to integrate all the errata because I just plan on playing this game a lot. So, okay, plus 30 if target is in a strong point, no. Entrenched, no. Hasty defensive position, no. Defilade, no. Night, no. March column formation, no. Traveling or traveling overwatch, no. Mop, no. Final protective fires, no. And okay, U.S. units firing from assault position, no. None of those apply. A lot of those are above level 1 rules, but gives you an idea of some good stuff that's coming. The target is at T80. Plus 10 if the target is moving. Yes, target's moving. So we have to add. So now we're 14 goes to 24. Plus 5 if the unit is in a wooded square. No, it's in the clear. Plus 10 if the unit is in an urban square. No. Plus 15 if the unit is in a rubbled square. Wow, rubbled square. Forgot about that. Okay, so just the plus 10 for moving. So now we're at 24. Oh, I think those are all that apply, because we have these ones. We have the general, we have the specific for the firing unit, and the specific for the target unit. I guess that's it. So we go 24. The range is 1 to, wow, he just destroyed the entire platoon in one attack. 1 to 65 is 3 kills. Wow. Huh. Wow. Probably a lesson to not do that. So it's 3 kills. Again, we know that the platoon has a strength of 3 because it's 1 for the top counter. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right. Let's see what happens as a result of this. Okay, so I don't recall any wrecks or burning wrecks or anything like that. So I'm just going to remove the first Op 4 platoon. The firing unit now becomes spotted, so I'll remove the unspotted cover there. And the will fire marker is flipped to fired. Now we go to step E, which is the simultaneous fire. So I guess because he's marked fired, he cannot fire again. So I guess now is when units with no marker are eligible to fire. That might be misleading. Never mind that. So I guess now they can return fire. Yeah, they're spotted. They fired. They are in urban terrain. 7. Okay, so let's execute this Op 4 fire. Oh, wait a minute. They would be unspotted because the moment they emerged from the urban terrain, they would have been spotted. So there. Okay. Now, now we have the return fire. So we'll use the Soviet combat results table to. Oh wait, I guess actually, to make this really clear, both players, I believe, would, well, yeah, both players are going to do that. Both players are going to set all their will fire markers. And I believe at that time you have to determine your targets. And so I think, yeah, now I have a vague recollection that when it gets busy, I think I was generally orienting the will fire marker towards the target square. I think I was doing that. Makes sense anyways. All right, so just for completeness sake, I'll do that. And then, all right, and then resolve this. We don't have any suppression of missile firing units. Okay. So let's just take a look at how different it is for the Soviets. We saw for the US, I mean, they had a 65% chance of obliterating the entire platoon and only a 2% chance of missing entirely. We're in the same range column, the same range. That's 7. Okay. Now, Soviet, okay, let's go through. Strong point entrenched, defense position, defilade, no. Night traveling, traveling overwatch, no. March column, no mob. Final protective fires in assault position, no. So none of the general apply. These look identical on both sides, actually. So those are kind of universal. The target is an M1. Plus 10 if the target's moving. Obviously, the M1 platoon is not moving. It is in urban square, so plus 10. Oh, I guess I can go ahead and roll first. And then get our die roll model. Ooh, 67. Not as good. Okay, so already we have plus 10 for urban. So 67 goes to 77. Firing unit is a moving, right? Moving marker. It's a moving T-80 unit. It's not a headquarters unit, and this unit is not taking any losses. So I guess we're left with a 77. 77. This column is, wow, missed completely. A 58% chance of causing at least one kill. Yeah, 0. Huh. That's a big difference. That is a big difference. Well, I know what I should have done. I should have had this unit will fire too. Well, I'm not gonna go back and redo that, but clearly that unit, because he's masked from the rest of the U.S. units from the woods here, should have fired. That would have been on the next column up. That would have been a 48% chance of causing at least one kill. That's not too bad. Huh. Only a 1% chance of eliminating the entire platoon. Wow, big difference. Okay, flip the will fire to the fired side. Wow. All right, step F. This is, okay, so here's where step E is declaration and step F is resolution. Okay. Maybe that's what I was talking about before. Oh, well. Oh, so step D, E, and F are all important to do in order. Okay. So that is resolution. Step G. Okay, U.S. player movement. So I'm going to figure out what to do with these other platoons. And I wonder, could a unit that's fired move? Actually, I guess that's exactly the point of following the sequence of play, because actually at the end of step F, fired markers are supposed to be removed anyways. Remove all fired markers. All fired markers. So these were supposed to come off anyways. So now when we're in step G for U.S. movement, it doesn't have a fired marker on it anymore. Now, of course, the question is, how does he regain unspotted status? But let me handle movement first. Oh. Since there is no opportunity fire, why wouldn't the M1s move away, at least to regain unspotted status? Okay, I may be overthinking this, and I may also just not be following the spirit of the rules, but I am just trying to follow the rules as written. The M1 tanks there are spotted because they fired. Well, I should say they're spotted because they fired and were able to be observed when they fired. They remain spotted as long as they remain in the square from which they fired. Okay. So, does that mean, and I don't really like this, but I don't know, something doesn't sit right, but does that mean that I can move back 1, and now the urban area basically blocks observation from any OPFOR unit the instant I mean, I think the instant it's unobserved, it regains its unobserved status. And then can it move back into the urban area unspotted? For right now, I think that that's allowed by the rules as written. Um, hmm. Huh. Well, again, maybe I'm overthinking this. I'm a little perplexed on that. I don't know. I'll play this like this now. I definitely want to review some things and see how this actually plays out. Seems strange. Well, for what it's worth, I'll mention something, because now I have a recollection from when I played a couple years back. This is one of those situations where the rules for this game, the rules for main battle area, you actually have to read them very closely, and you have to not read anything into the rules. So this is what I mean. The question for me is, if the US unit moves right back into the urban area, is it spotted again because maybe OP4 units, also over here, can observe the urban area? So do they see the US unit re-entering the urban area here? This is why I think they do not. Because specifically, the rules say, let's just take this unit. Can this unit observe the M1 tanks there? The rules as written, your line of sight is drawn from the observing units square to the observed units square. But this is important. It says to the observed units square. So the observed units square is included, presumably, in the definition of the line of sight. Then the next step is there blocking terrain along the line of sight? This is where you have to say, well, yeah, there's an urban square that is along the line of sight. It also happens to be the last square and the square occupied by the observed unit, but there is blocking terrain on the line of sight. Okay. Then the rules say that you can ignore urban and I think woods terrain only in the observing units square. It says that, if I remember correctly, it says that, which leads me to believe that you don't ignore the observed unit square. And so that's why, by putting this all together, that's it. I don't believe there are any other exceptions or steps to the analysis here. So that's why I think that the urban terrain in the last square, occupied by the spotted, or by the, the unit trying to be observed, I think the line of sight is blocked, and so it is unspotted. I think that's how it works and what is intended. Again, I didn't get that right away when I started playing the very first time. I think that's what it is. Maybe at some point I'll see some explanation somewhere that will change that interpretation. That's my interpretation for now. So, US units have moved. And we go to step H. Step H is Soviet player performs all actions US player performed in step D. So now the Soviets get that non-missile direct fire by unspotted units. So actually, so real quickly, so these ones are not unspotted, so they're not eligible at all. These ones are unspotted. So in principle anyways, we would want to know if this unit could do this basically unspotted fire. but they don't actually have a legitimate target. Now, one more thing. Let's say that unit were still observed. What's the range on our T-80s there? Yeah, the range is only 10. Oops. It's the M1. Okay, the range is 10 for the T-80. So, what is that? 2.5 kilometers? 2.5 kilometers. Okay. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah. So, they would be out of range anyways. Okay. So, let's go on to step I. So, this is the simultaneous declaration of fires. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Both players know. Oh. So the Abrams get to shoot again? I'm going to play this. That seems especially lethal, but huh. All right. Let's play this. So we'll fire. Wow. All right. Now we go to step J. We resolve this simultaneous fire. Wow. That's actually the same as oh no, it's not the same. It's the same as before, except now the M1s have moved. Oh, 77. That's not as good. So that should be all the same. T-80s have moved plus 10. And oh yeah, now we go to the Abrams moving. So it's a whole different set here. So I think it's 77 plus 10 is 87. Yeah, 87. At range 7. Still 2 kills. Just barely. Just barely 2 kills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Yeah, okay, so 2 kills. So I'm going to remove the 2 strength marker there. They become spotted again, although it didn't seem to matter much. So I guess that would be a big difference if I have that observation wrong, and they actually did become observed again when they moved back into the urban area. Yeah. Okay. And then step K. All right, so yeah, so now we would remove all the movement markers. Oh, fired, this would come off. And then yep, he would still be observed. And so then we would go on to the third round. Yep, third round.